Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks in another match Beyond All Reason, where today we're going to be taking a look at a game that was sent on over here on the Discord channel that was played on a very unique map. Not one that we got to take a look at all too often, but we did actually cast a game of fairly recently. It wasn't too long ago we saw Thermal Shock make an appearance here on the Brightworks. But I'm excited to be back because this is one of those maps that I feel like is not really fully explored. I feel like there's still a lot of strategies to unfold, and I'm very excited to see whether we'll see some of those new ones here today. So, without further ado, our red team leader spawning on the south eastern side of this very oddly spawned positional map here. It's going to be our red team leader. That is a Legion commander. Got that nice little goblin fighter on the head there, as well as the antler crown. Very cool to see. A Legion commander that goes by the name of FFS. FFS. I'll leave it to you to translate what that stands for here, but FFS of the Stud Clan, clocking in at, my goodness, 52.05 open skill. As someone who lingers around the 30, 31, 32 level of open skill, 50 open skill just seems absolutely unbelievable. Like an unattainable level of skill, but it's not even the highest one. In fact, hold on, just out of curiosity, I'm just curious here. What is the highest open skill currently on the 8v8 ladder? Let's have a look here. Looks like for large team games, the highest open skill currently, as of recording this video, is going to be held by Amir at 76.91. So that gives you kind of some perspective, right? So 76.91 is the highest. The next highest, second place, is 62.90. So there's more than 10 OS difference between number 2 and number 1. Gives you some perspective for how skewed this system really is. And then very quickly it drops to 60 and then 57. And then we have, going all the way down the list here. Let's see, can we see? I don't see where this position is. But at 50 open skill, we would be somewhere in like the top 10. Top 20 at the very least. Yeah, we'd definitely be on the top 20, somewhere around the 14 or 15 position mark for big team games. Suffice it to say, this is a commander I'm excited to see play Legion because, yeah, top tier commanders playing the faction that's a little bit still undiscovered. It certainly makes me excited to see what we can figure out. Our blue commander here, White Seraph at 49 open skill, so just a couple points back from FFS, is going to be none other than White Seraph. Yeah, in a transport here. Very nice. White Seraph, otherwise known as Worst Strategy. Apparently FFS is also known as Lovish. That's a much more recognizable name. I know that name by heart. Lovish. Let's see where you clock in here on the charts. Do I see your name? I'm having a look for it. I don't see it right now. These charts tend to change all the time, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if Lovish has been there and gone away and come back and all that sort of a good stuff. But okay, we've got a cheeky little transport play here by White Seraph, aka Worst Strategy, who's gone ahead and moved that core commander out to the front lines and will be dropping it to stop this goblin run by, sort of putting a cap, right, on the maroon commander's, or the red commander's expansion path here. Okay. We're going to be using the commander to just walk forward, and no doubt we're going to be trying to cap off the expansions right here, yeah. Now, this also reveals that we're playing against a Legion commander. So, of course, that does mean that we're going to want to be super aggressive in denying this metal. We already don't have as many metal extractors because, well, it's Legion, so you just get 20% less metal, period. But denying 2 of these metal extractors that should be going to the red commander definitely hurts quite a bit. It's going to be difficult to break this early on at the very least. These units from blue have a long way to go, but certainly once they get out there, this is going to be a nice, aggressive, early frontline position to hold. And obviously fighting in a choke point is always a little bit suspect, especially against core, which tends to have big, bulky, heavy-hitting targets that can deal damage as well as take a whole bunch of hits. Southern side hotly contested right here by our orange hero, Rumble Crush of the Kill clan, apparently. 37 open skill and firing away with those microwave beams, trying to blast down whatever we can over here. Cruising Bean, going to be defending this northern side. We got some grunts moving forward, and the LLTs helping out a whole bunch here as well. But the thugs have enough sustain, and at the end of the day, only one of them will actually fall. Not bad. Heat ray tank's a little bit overexposed for my liking. They're sort of diving in here on the commander. They do trade out quite nicely against all those grunts, so that's quite nice. They can do with a little bit of a massage, though, to get them all back up to high HP. These Alaris also very dangerous, of course. These do a huge burst of damage for their size and metal cost. They're very, very high bursty. Very low HP. Oh, wow. Okay, we got a resign vote already from the yellow commander. Nice. Beefers here, the green commander with a hilarious name, going to be holding down this midsection as well. A wonderful contest here because, again, we're denying a little bit of metal, but we're denying it from commanders that really desperately need it, right? It's only 2 metal extractors, but that accounts for basically half the economy at this point. of the pink commander. So it's a lot more metal if you look at it as like a percentage-wise. T2 Laboratory starting up here for the, finished up here for the Lavender Commander. Wow, that's a very quick T2. Do we have some share shenanigans going on in the chat? Doesn't look like it. Okay, wow. Okay, just a very, very aggressive T2. I mean, I guess we just got the Commander reclaimed here, and we just eat up all the energy. Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Obviously, getting that T2 up and running as quick as possible is important. Oftentimes, excuse me, oftentimes decides who wins and who loses a game. Had custom-made hamburgers tonight. They were delicious. Not that anybody asked, but there you go. As an American, you all should know, our diet consists primarily of hamburgers, but when the times call for it, occasionally a cheeseburger is permitted. Sometimes with lettuce. Napalm launcher firing away here. I love the barrage right now. Barrage makes a lot of sense, especially when going up against tightly clumped units like thugs, like whistlers too. Missile trucks are one of those strategies that have been very difficult to beat recently. The napalm can be an almost direct hard counter against that sort of a strategy, because any amount of clumping on these units is going to be a huge benefit right here to the Tan Commander and their forces, who just get so much value out of units standing still in a wide open area. Nice repair command to keep it alive, by the way. And yeah, you can see all these thugs are scuffed up, and it's not like they're going to die anytime soon, right? Like the napalm's not going to kill them. They can be out-repaired quite easily, but it's a huge APM tax, and suddenly Frugies is paying for going for such a powerful composition here with the res bots and everything. He's paying an APM tax, he or she. Holdover here is stalwart, though. We have rocket bots holding on. Twin guard now firing away here. Super annoying to have to fight one of those twin guards, because, of course, the early rocket bots can't actually outrange it, so we would either need some sort of a vehicle transition here from stud FFS, or we need to, I mean, yeah, see the brute force. There we go. Rocket bot's going to start firing away. That twin guard is in trouble. It will eventually fall here to the brute force of the ballista, as we see more and more of these units coming up and holding, well, pushing back the front line. This is the issue, right? White Seraph walked into, effectively, the reinforcement benefit. Those units are coming out of the lab from the Red Commander way quicker and way closer to this front line than Blue Commander can hold on to. Resbot just, a second away from resurrecting that Twin Guard would be huge. White Seraph accidentally clicks on the crystals to reclaim, stops the Commander dead in its tracks. I have a feeling the Blue Commander is in a whole lot of trouble here all of a sudden. This forward laboratory was a gamble. It has not paid off. The Red Commander was able to spam out enough ballista to keep this all working quite nicely. Grunts are forced to pull the trigger. No D-gun on that lab either, so we're not going to deny the metal, which does mean all of a sudden FFS is in a pretty fantastic position. We're starting up some more Twin Guards just to try and delay this advance. At the end of the day, was denying this for that long really worth it? I don't think so. I think we wasted too much metal in the bot labs here. Ooh, Commander goes down. It ruins this front line. Okay, Twin Guard is up and running. Yeah, we're going to try and comb-bomb here. It's kind of the only logical decision. Commander destroyed. It's the only way to make sure that Commander doesn't accidentally blow up your own forces on the retreat, but obviously, it's also the only thing that can really effectively disintegrate all these units right here. Rip, I got gamed, says the Blue Commander, and I think I have to agree. The Humble Ballista, and yeah, just an absolute massive number of them. Turns out to work quite nicely here. Apparently one of those hero grunts snuck by and managed to kill a mechs back there. Not the end of the world, though, with 1,025 metal lying on the floor here available for the Red Commander. The Lab of Shame now started up in the backline here. At the very least, the silver lining on top of a very brown play is going to be, isn't a turd play, by the way, is going to be the T2 Commander. I don't mind it, right? I mean, I like the aggression, I like the T2 transport, but it was super, super risky, and it was played really nicely there by the Red Commander. Pressure needs to be applied a little more aggressively over here. The Red Com has been able to get away with these mexes over here. All of a sudden, this flips on its head, right? It was a huge gamble. It didn't pay off. Now we're on defense, and it's going to be in the blue player's court in order to try and do something about that.
Commander destroyed.
Commander destroyed on the southern side. Rallying heat ray tanks going to shut down the Seafoam Green Commander, who is pushing in with the forces here. We do have some more green forces pushing in to try and save the first Orange Commander. A second one has been handed over here to Rumble Crush in order to try and defend this front line. No doubt going to try and reclaim a whole bunch of this metal as well. Very juicy reclaim, 3,500 metal or so. And those Decurion are painful. Yeah, you can't really push into Decurion. Makes it super, super awkward right now for the Green Commander, who has to try and figure out how to deal with these heavy tanks. with the T1 army? It's an awkward question. There's not a great answer to it. We're going to pull the trigger here mostly just to cover the commander going in for some of that juicy reclaim. We need it so desperately. At 23 metal per second, this front line desperately needs that reclaim so we can start that T2 transition, get more eco going. This is the fun that's going to save the green commander here on the front line. Vehicle lab coming up and running. That's quite nice. It's going to allow a little bit more pressure here, as we do see those Decurion getting a nice little massage. Well, they were for a second anyways. Now they're getting barraged right here by the rocket bots. No reclaim on the commander corpse though. Yikes. We really need to sneak the metal out of that corpse here before the Decurion can contest it once more. Nice catch over here on these tanks on the northern side. A little unmicroed. Every little victory like that matters. Decurion's soaking up damage, but that's their job. And you can see after just a second or so, they can be repaired almost all the way back to full health. My goodness, they have such high repairability. One of those things that I wonder if might get nerfed about the Decurion is just their ability to be repaired, because it is atrocious to play against. Ballista here. Pushing forward. Ballista, not what you would typically consider a assault unit here. Being used like that is a little bit funny. They will eventually be shot down by the grunts, right? They don't have a ton of HP. They have a decent amount of HP. They are technically a medium bot rather than a light bot. The heavy transport moving in to abduct this guy. Oh my goodness. Well, that's one way to do it, right? Alright, yoink. That bot's as good as eaten. Of course, this also exposes the entire base to the red commander, so I don't know. Giving basically perfect scouting info here to the red commander. Even though we'll eat up that unit, it does reveal exactly where everything is. Can't help but wonder if bombers will be the next play up on the docket here. The brown commander for the red team certainly is teed up. Oh, nice hit from the air. Player manages to snipe the yellow commander with a whole bunch of those martyr, dropping them out of the sky and right on the yellow commander's head before there's even time to deal with it. Commander huge single target damage right there, dropping down from those suicide bombers, and it's more than enough to take out that commander. What a huge snipe right there on the front line. One of the wonderful ways that Legion commanders can get into the game early on is just with a whole bunch of those suicide drones to take out early commanders. I think it's only like, I want to say 20 of those to really consistently kill a commander. It might even be less than that. It might be closer to like 15 or something. You have to land them directly on the commander's head, though. That's kind of the issue. They don't have very much AoE damage whatsoever. You basically have to get a direct hit. So ideally, you land them on a commander that's not paying attention whatsoever. Red front line a little bit overexposed after the... Yeah, after that bot push was kind of rejected here. T2 mexes are coming up. I mean, this is an economy worth fighting for, right? This is still a very impressive eco. We do have these overcharged mexes, though, which is actually quite nice. Kind of keeping the red commander in play here. We have twice as many mexes, but they're also producing twice as much metal, which equals to about 4x the metal that we're getting here out of the blue commander's 4x mexes.
Destroyed.
Okay, Redcom overzealously aggressing forward there. Accidentally wanders too far to the fiends. Was trying to snipe this lab, no doubt, but didn't manage to make it. Not the end of the world, but it does mean the red commander is going to have to be a little bit more wary of this southern side, right? Suddenly in a huge exposed position where the blue team, that's a terrible arrow, but the blue team can push in from multiple angles. All of a sudden, the red commander's in a really tricky spot. Not to mention, of course, that the blue commander now has T2 and can walk right on by in this angle, or this angle. Loads of opportunity paths here. Mosquitoes in the air here. The ornithopters firing away their little recharge missiles. Their little light impulse missiles. They don't do much damage, but when you have a dozen of them in the sky, they can start to whittle things down pretty quickly here. And the battle of the Decurions is a brutal one. Is there a single dead Decurion on this field? I don't see one. They're just so strong. Man, and the construction turrets patching them back up. Look at that. It's like 8% per second or something. Oh my goodness. It's huge. It's really, really gigantic repair. And it's a little bit unfair. Like, I don't think medium tanks can really compete with that. I mean, obviously the point of the Decurion is it's supposed to be super expensive, but also hit a little bit above its weight class. Like, it's supposed to be a little better than the T1 unit.
Destroyed.
That's a commander snipe by a bunch of those mosquitoes. Okay. Loads of blitzes coming in right here. If this leak isn't dealt with, this is going to be GG. And I don't see a response right here. I mean, there was one from the air commander, but that's been shot down by the fighters here from the brown commander. Nicely done. Now there's blitzes moving to the backline. What are we going to do about it? You need something fast. You need something that hits hard. Fiends and sprinters are kind of the only things in the entire book that are going to work. These blitzes are going to go on an absolute tear. Green Commander in a horrible position. No units and no energy to actually produce units. This base is as good as dead. With wind turbines falling, the last source of any energy going down right here does mean that these blitzes are now well into the back line, and there's not much you can do to stop them. This would be a good time to self-destruct one of these. If you self-destruct one of these metal extractors, it might be enough to kill these blitzes. You're basically sacrificing your base in order to save your team. We need to see a T2 lab up on the front here. We need to see some more solar panels on the front here. We need to see a lot of stuff, but obviously fighting a 2 or 3v1 is very, very exhausting. Red Commander has held the front, has gotten the AGU up and running, has got the T2 lab producing, has got the eco scaling. We're in a great spot here so far, actually. We need to eat up this Commander Corps right here. We need to start expanding once more, get these T2 mexes up and running. Wouldn't mind seeing these turned into the advanced exploiters here. The T2 armed metal extractors. Blitz is finding potential. Slowly working away at this wind turbine column, but man. Probably 100 or so dead wind turbines between all those. Beautiful, beautiful. Resbot with this beautiful new texture as well. There are the sprinters to finally clean this up, but my goodness. Sometimes one run by is really all it takes. Looks like the commander did go down, so at the very least these Resbots have something to snack on. Look at that funky looking new Resbot texture. I love it. It's time to go. It's time to see some action. Loads of Centurions moving in. Mace is here available as well. Zyko in a pretty tough spot. Let's see some carnage. Centurion don't really care about the static defenses. They have more than enough tank. Boom, goes the main commander. Okay, kills most of that army in the explosion, not bad. At the very least, it does mean that this front line is D-gun free for the time being. As long as we see some more units pumped in this way, we should be alright. A couple of these phalanx are coming up here. The shielded riot control bots. They are super high impulse, super high AoE, super low damage for T2. They are pretty good. Pretty good. They do expertly against lighter T2 and basically all T1. Suddenly it looks like the Cyan Commander is now the one in a little bit of a risky spot here. Now pinned between the Maroon and Red Commander. And it looks like our Red Hero is thinking about gearing up for some kind of an attack. We have that beautiful looking radar and radar jammer bot, by the way. I mean, just spectacular looking on these bad boys. Very, very cute. Very adorable. What are we going to go for siege? Looks like it's Thanatos, the rocket salvo bots. Okay. I feel like music might be a little bit loud here. Let's go ahead and adjust that. There we go. We do have a couple of Scorpions coming up here. I wouldn't mind seeing a Cerberus. It looks like we do actually have that queued up, so that's good. Yeah, it's the next thing we're going to build. Cerberus Cannon effectively wins you this midsection. There's not much better than a Cerberus. They are kind of the end-all be-all of static defenses. Scorpions are super dangerous too, and we do have one of these advanced exploiters as well, so that makes this really awkward to push into. All of a sudden, the siege has to be a slow and painful and grindy one. It buys time for the Cerberus Cannon. We're a long ways off from the Cerb because, of course, this takes forever to build. It costs 3,100 metal, so super expensive, and 35,000 energy. But it would essentially win this entire midsection here. I mean, you can see the range on this is enough to kill the Maroon, the Red, the other Red, everything.
Destroyed.
The second Orange Commander falls on the southern side here as those T2 tanks roll out of the laboratory. We have Quakers now firing off into the distance. Looking to find some value. Tiger tanks rolling out to the front here as well. I wonder if we're going to even go for a Tsar at some point. And T2 mechs is coming up, which are funding all this, but no energy left in the tank. Yep, there we finally found our answer here to the Decurions. Simply hit them hard enough. Quakers are exactly the right tool for that job. Rail cannon. Long-range skirmisher anti-air lances. It's a railgun on a truck. And for what it's worth, it does exactly that. Let me just take a second to appreciate how beautiful this looks. What an epic looking unit. Oh, they got a little skull on their antennas. How cute is that? Tiger's apparently celebrating the festivities here as we get up close and personal with the action, bringing you the action alive. The Tiger tanks now pushing forward and ravaging the base here of the Orange Commander, who didn't quite get up to that T2 fast enough and now is left with nothing to defend the remnants of the base on the southern side. Red Commander also continuing the siege. Cerberus did get denied here as the geothermal exploded. It'd be a great time to restart it though, of course, as now there's no explosive core at the middle of your construction project. Meanwhile, blue fighters moving in. Blue scouts moving in. Blue bombers moving in. Actually, is that a combination force? We have purple and blue fighters and blue bombers looking to finish off this game. Beautiful strafing run right there. Takes out the entire pink base. Bombers lining up once more for another run against the pink commander this time. Bombs away and a beautiful carpet bombing again. Oh, those are some juicy connections right there for the blue commander. Now we're going to head on over towards the brown commander's base. Way overbuilt on the E converters, and all of a sudden, yeah, this base is left in shambles. Can we get one more beautiful bombing run here? I think it's possible. The wind turbines, or the commander, or the laboratory, all three. Yeah, we're gonna go for the winds here. Bombers doubling back around here as there is some anti-air now available. Trying to take out as much of whatever remains here as they can, but it looks like it'll be enough. The pressure is overwhelming, and despite a beautiful comeback on the northern side from the red commander, there just wasn't quite enough air to hold off 2 commanders worth. And it does mean that the blue team manages to secure their victory. What a wonderful little back and forth game. Thanks a ton for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed. And as always, of course, if you enjoy, feel free to join the Brightworks community by hitting that subscribe button or heading on over to the Discord to check out replays for yourself, or even drop your own replays if you're so inclined. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you again in the very next cast of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.